So now that we have downloaded and opened our Unreal project, the first thing you want to do is come to Lodge and open it and create a maps folder. What you do is you right click, new folder, and name it maps. Because what we want to do is grab the map that I showed you in the introduction and save as your own map. So we come to Brushify, go into maps, roads, natural roads, and open natural roads. Once you have this map open, you go into file, save current as, and save it in maps. I named mine Lodge. And then once you save it, you're gonna see up here that the name will change to whatever name you gave the file. Now that we have this, we can work freely, and you're not gonna overwrite none of the stuff for the pack. Then I already placed a material for you that you're just going to hook up your textures. The material looks like this. This is the material window, and it's composed of all these nodes, and I created all these nodes. This is my own personal material, like my starter material for almost everything, and then I can expand from this. You can do any type of effect with these materials, but these use our maps. So it will use the diffuse map, it will use your emissive mask if you have one, it'll do the normal, it'll do height map if you have height, and then it'll do the occlusion, roughness, and metallic textures. And if you, as you can see, I'm using the channels to break those up. So what we want to do first is import all your textures. So you come into the texture folder, then you come into add import and go up and click import to game, basically the route, the directory that we're in, and you're going to look for all your textures, and you're just gonna shift select everything and import, and it's going to import, and it's gonna give you this because it's saying that some of them are normals, and that's just fine. Once you have this, you want to click save all to save all your files, and it'll save it. Then to create a material, what you want to do is right click, create material instance. What this will do is grab all the nodes that we have here and create a material instance of that material so that you can change it without having to change the base shader. The base shader will have all the parameters that you can change on the material. So I'll name this one MI, let me see one of the textures, Bell. So I'll name this one. So if you press F2, you can rename MI for material instance, and then name it Bell. Then I double click on it, and you will see this material pop up, and you're going to see that it looks different from the original. This is because the original material looks like all the nodes, but these are parameters that I have set, I created so that they're exposed, so that you can just change these parameters on the fly instead of coming in here and changing the numerical values here. That's what you're seeing right here. So now we go into the texture, we check these, and then Select the diffuse, apply the diffuse. Select the normal, apply the normal. ORM, select the map, paste it, and you can see it changes the whole look of your mesh, of your shader. Then here are fine-tuning values, so you can select if you want more normal information. So in here, to navigate, right click zooms in and out, and rotate, and left click just rotates. So let's say you want more roughness or more normal information, you can increase this and it will give you more normal information. If you want it flatter, you just decrease it. I'll put it at 1.5. Then you have your roughness values, but do not modify these until you have a mesh in your world, because that way you can fine tune the shader how it looks on the viewport. So for now, we're just gonna click save, and that's how you import and create a material. So now let's start importing our meshes, and then we'll create the shaders and apply them. So for the meshes is the same thing. Go into the mesh folder, add import, add over here, go in or into the thing, into the meshes. Let's do the bell. So open, and what you want to do is, this is not a skeletal mesh, so make sure is not checked. This will stay the same. The only thing that I will change is down here. Do not create a material, because when you have a mesh with a material from Maya, Blender, or whatever program, it will try to import that, and we don't want that. Also, import textures. If that shader that you have in the other programs have the textures applied to it, it's gonna try to import those as well. We don't want that either, because we already did that. So we do not create a material and then uncheck import textures. Everything else should stay the same, and then click import, and you see your mesh in here. Now to apply the material, all you want to do is double click on it. This window is gonna pop up with all your mesh and all the properties for the mesh. Here's where you can apply collision if you're going to collide, light map resolution, the LOD, and LOD stands for level of detail. So some models, depending on how far you are from the model, it will change. So that's what the LOD does. And then you have your material. So then you go to the material folder, select the material, and click the arrow, and it'll apply it. Or you can just click on you can click here and look for it by just typing whatever material you have. Now you can see the actual asset in the engine. And now if you wanted to modify how it's looking, you can double click, put this one next to each other, and then modify it so you can roughness, and you can see a real time. Like so. And once you're happy, you just click save, close that one, and then save. And now if you go into your meshes, all you want to do is click and drag, and you can bring in your meshes in the scene. So now let's import all our meshes. Let's import, and now since you already imported a mesh, it's gonna save those import settings. So if you can just click on everything and left click on the one that you already imported and press open, and you're going to see that all my settings are gonna be the same. So you're gonna be seeing in material import is gonna be no, it's not gonna import a material or textures, and I'll just press import all, and it's just gonna import all my meshes. And this is a message log that every time you import, it'll bring this log to see if there's any errors. So there is no errors. So then we'll close that. And now all we have to do is create the materials and apply them. And for the bell, I did the chain. So I grab this, materials, apply, save. So what I like to do is just grab all the assets and open them all that pertain to, let's say, the bell, or to like the UV map that I did all these shaders for, and then I closed it. And then go into the material folder, select the material, and then apply it. So see, now I can apply it to all of them, and then just close them, save all, and it will save all my stuff. So that's that. Now let's create the other materials. So we have the lift. So let's do the lift now. Materials. And if you press Control W on the last one that you created, and this is the lift, double click, is going to remember that you activated these check marks, and I'll leave them checked. And then all you have to do is type the name, and apply it. And then I'll just revert all this. And then I'll change as I go. Now that I have this, I'll go into the mesh and open all the meshes that pertain to the lift. So this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And then I'll come to the materials, grab the lift, and assign. Close and save all. Now all my meshes are textured. Now let's do, we know we have the structure, the lodge itself. We got the plaster walls. So what we want to do, materials, plaster walls, let's keep creating all the textures for these. Stone wall we have. Then we have support base. No supports. And we have windows. Now stone walls, stone walls, and stone walls. Save. And all I'm doing is creating all the materials so that I can just mass apply to everything. So here in Windows, we know we have an emissive, but we don't have a map placement. So all you want to do is go to emissive and check this. And then you have the emissive color and the emissive mask. So window, click on it, and then set this to white so that the color can come out. And then you also going to have the emissive intensity, make it 1, and you can see it lights up. And here's where you can see that it lights up. And you can also change the color. So if you want it to be a red tint, blue tint, green tint, you can modify it. I just leave it white, because if you do black, it's just going to turn it off. But now we can just apply to everything. So I'll just open everything. And start applying. These are supports. And I'll close it right away. Ports. The bell was done. This was, let's see if it was in support. Yes, it was. And the reason you see everything like backwards is because the way we exported everything. We were exporting on the with Y negative, Y positive, and Unreal basically flips it. You can go back ahead and re-import it if you want, but it's not necessary. You can see what the mesh is about. The door, was it in support? Yes, it was. We go into materials, we can just apply these. It's not this one. It has to be support. This one was the lift. Something wrong here. I'll have to re-import back my mesh, my material. Then this is walls. Walls. This is windows. Into materials, stone walls. Supports. 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 What are these? Stone walls. There you go. Stone walls. The windows. The other window. 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 And support. Now we close all this, save all. And now let me re-import back again my texture for the lift because it got messed up. So this is basically what you do in case one of your textures didn't export correctly. So the problem was I didn't mask this texture. So what I did was I did black mask, selected all these, and now I can export textures, and then the lift and export. All my settings are the same because I already saved the file. And then I'll minimize, and then come to the texture. And instead of clicking here to re-import, if you just select all the textures, right click, re-import, and it should re-import fine. Now if we go to the meshes, we press save all, you have the correct textures on them.